Namaskar. We are discussing biopsychology of yoga, the topic of chakras, and today is Anahata Chakra. Anahata Chakra is number 4. It is located in the middle of the body. If you draw the line through the nipples and then another line in the middle of the body like that, and then the crossing point will be the exact location of the Anahata Chakra. So there are 3 chakras below and 3 chakras above. Those below, they constitute the stage of animality, and chakras above, they are divinity, they are spirituality. So Anahata Chakra is that crossing point, that silver lining, that tangential point between animality and divinity. And that is what? That is the stage of humanity. In Anahata Chakra, we will have to take the decision to choose the path. Here, the mind becomes sentient. Maybe you heard that concept that within the body, the 3 forces are manifest. Those forces called Tamaguna, static principle, Rajaguna, mutative principle, or dynamic principle, and Sattvaguna, sentient principle, subtle force. Those forces, they are creative forces of nature. I will not talk much about them because it is entirely another topic, it is quite big. But I will say that Tamaguna, the static principles, works in the 3 lower chakras, from the point of Muladhara to Manipura. Then, between the Manipura and Anahata Chakra is the region of Rajaguna, mutative principles, dynamic principle. And then finally, from Anahata Chakra up to Agya Chakra, there is a domain, the sphere of sentienthood, the sentient force. So what does it mean that mind becomes sentient? Mind here becomes self-aware. It is becoming capable of making its own choices. So here, at the level, once we reach that sentienthood, and once we acquire the ability of free choice, then we will have to decide whether to move further along the path of evolution or turn back and degenerate to the stage of animality. So the main characteristic of Anahata Chakra is that decision power. Here at Anahata Chakra, we will have to decide, we will have to choose our path, we have to choose our destiny. That is why this center becomes the most important, most essential in spirituality. My spiritual master has said, humanity is, in its fullest sense, is a divinity. So humanity becomes divinity. By entering Anahata Chakra, we enter the domain of spirituality. The spirituality here is in a very rudimentary stage. It is very basic. But from here it starts. And the vrittis of Anahata Chakra, like in the Manipura Chakra and Svadhisthana Chakra and Muladhara Chakra, we can say that those expressions, mental expressions, they are primitive, and most of the time they act also as a negative forces in our lives. The chakras above, Vishuddha and Agya Chakra, they contain the very superhuman, the very advanced expressions of the mind, and they are positive forces. But here at the Anahata Chakra, vrittis, they are undecided whether to be positive or be negative. If the mind is goaded towards spirituality, the expressions of Anahata Chakra, they become like a golden expressions of the mind, most valuable human treasures. And if the mind moves towards physicality, to the mundanity, those very emotions, they become very mundane, and finally they lead also to degeneration. So here Anahata Chakra will have to decide whether to move along the path of spirituality or the path of mundanity. And that is the most crucial choice in our life. So the health of Anahata Chakra is extremely important. Is extremely important because either the new dawn of spirituality or the worn out skeleton of the past, the death itself, because degeneration means death. Eventually it means self-destruction. Yeah, in spirituality, the value of Anahata Chakra is immense. Let us explore this center. I will explain the basic idea about Anahata, then we will explore very deeply in details the vrittis, the expressions of the mind on this level, and then finally we will talk about the methods, how does the yoga transforms this center. And I have seen it with my own eyes, that people who start practicing the exercises, the practices, the meditations of the complete holistic system of yoga, how they blossom, how they transform into something almost superhuman. Humanly superhuman, I would say. Yeah, I've seen it with my own eyes. I see it today, I've seen it yesterday, I will see it tomorrow. So, and then, yeah, in the end I will explain the techniques to open up Anahata Chakra. Okay, let us start with the overview. Anahata. Anahata the name refers to Anahata Nada. What is Anahata Nada? It is a mystical experience. There is a sound, subtle sound. It is believed in yoga philosophy that this universe is the production of sound, is the result of sound. It is made of light and sound. It is made of waves. The original wave is the sonic one, is the wave of the sound. And then when that wave gets crudified, slowly it transforms into the crude expressions. But the root, the source is the sound. That's why in Christianity it is said, first was the sound. So that sound, actually, the primordial sound, can be heard. That primordial sound is Omkara, Om sound. But the initial expression you can hear at the Anahata Chakra in the form of sweet sound of the flute. When the mind becomes very calm and peaceful and introvert, when it goes inside, then that sound starts to manifest itself. And then when the mystic hears that sound, he becomes intoxicated and he becomes attracted towards the state of ecstasy. Anyway, let us not become too mystical yet. There are many things yet to discuss. But Anahata refers to that kind of sound. And then also, not only in India, not only in yoga culture, but also in other traditions such as Sufism, they give great importance to the sound. And they also describe that experience of Anahata Chakra, the sound experience, Anahata Nada. Anahata is controlling air element of the body. What is air element? It is not oxygen, hydrogen, CO2, nitrogen. It is nothing like that. None of those gases. Air element means subtle energy that works within the body. It is unseen, and it is performing a number of vital functions, such as function of breathing, function of hunger, It puts us to sleep from wakefulness, and so on. There are 10 vital airs with different functions. Prana, Apana, Samana, Vyana, Udana, Naga, Kurma, Krikara, Devadatta, Dhananjaya. These airs are there. Airs, they're described like airs. Actually, it is subtle energies working within. I will give another class on prana, and it is very interesting class because knowing that energy, it is on the border of miracle, no? But today it will be enough just to say that this vital energy, which is in Sanskrit, this collective name of all those 10 energies, is called pranaha. And in China they call it chi. So this pranaha, vital energy of the body, exercises a great amount of influence over the mind. If the pranaha is restless, irregular, the mind becomes restless. The mind loses all its higher capabilities. The mind cannot think, cannot concentrate, cannot memorize, cannot remember, and then intuition also becomes absent. When the prana becomes calmed down, then the mind becomes sharp. I've seen it with my eyes, you know, the examples of people who controlling this prana. Anyway, by saying this, I just wanted to say that since Anahata Chakra controlling that air element, then in Anahata Chakra there is a key to control the mind. There is a key to control the mind. Also, at the physical level, anyway, later a little bit I'll tell, the animal symbolism of the chakra is antelope. Antelope is kind of deer or what it, yeah, antelope with the horns. It is a nice animal, very light, very beautiful. There is no barbarism in it. It is very gentle, but it is also very cautious. It moves. The moment it is here, next moment it is there. It doesn't stay at one place. It moves like a wind. Anahata Chakra is like that. Anahata Chakra has to move. It is gentle, but it has to move because it is constantly taking a complex decisions about our actions, about our thoughts. The moods of Anahata Chakra changes all the time. It is very mobile. It is trying to adjust with the changing environment and trying to find the proper path. So that is antelope nature of Anahata Chakra. And then in the mandala of Anahata Chakra here, mandala means circle. In the circle of Anahata Chakra there is a gland. That gland is called thymus. When I read about that gland, I was so surprised how the function of that gland is so much in tune with the mental function of Anahata Chakra. Thymus gland is a part of immune system. When we are born, it is big like that. And then we are 70 years or 80 years old, that gland almost disappears. There is a gradual involution of the gland as we grow. Slowly it is transformed into the fat tissue and it is gone, is no more. So what does that gland do? That gland is the training center for the immune system. The blood cells in thymus gland are turned into the killer cells, into the police and soldiers of our body. There they are trained. How they are trained? They are transmitted the ability to discriminate between right and wrong. They will have to find many pathogens within the body. Our immune system is so smart, it can distinguish about 1 million pathogens, microbes, viruses, and also inner anomalies, inner troubles, such as cancer cells. You know, the cancer, the news is that we all have cancer. Many times in our life we had cancer. The cancer cells are constantly produced within our body. But since the immune system is strong, they are destroyed before they can form dangerous tumors. So, I was talking about this immune system. That immune system, the cells, they're trained how to find the enemies within the structure. So, they're trained to see and understand the evil. And then another function, there is a positive selection. First, after the training is complete, then all those T cells, you know, all those cadets of the police, they come for tasting. And then they're tested. If you learned how to see the evil, how to destroy the evil, then okay, you pass. Those who didn't learn, they are destroyed. And then another test is there. It's called negative selection. Those, the cells have to show the ability to see their own organs, their own body, and their own immune system, and not to attack the good ones. And if they didn't learn that, they also destroyed. So this is exactly the way our conscience works. The choice of the path. We have to understand what is right and what is wrong, and then take the right path. So immune system is a reflection of really the Anahata Chakra of the mental level. Anahata Chakra exercise the great amount of influence over our immune system. Some doctors believe that 90% of our diseases are mental, psychic, psychosomatic diseases. Means they start from the mind and then slowly they come to the level of the physicality. They express as the physical illnesses. Even we can say, of course, there are microbes, viruses, but some people they catch disease and some people do not. Just recently we had a story. We had a program, 140 people have come for 1 week in our retreat center, and we did, you know, intense spiritual practices. It was in the winter, so we all were in a very, you know, small space, and we could not expand because we have not yet built enough houses. We were happy, but some people came sick. Now next year I'm going to build, you know, a special house for those who are sick. I will put there. So some people came sick, and then slowly it was a powerful virus, and that virus started to spread and spread and spread and spread, and people were, you know, down one after another, and I was just like, oh, what's going on? And then at one day, and I have to, you know, as a host, I have to take care for people. I have to also, as a teacher, I have to guide them in meditation and do so many functions. But one day I felt, I'm falling sick. I'm going to be sick. At that moment I remember some switch went in my mind. I thought, no, I cannot, I have no right to become sick, and I will not become sick. I will not do it. There was this decision. There was like a turning point. I was already, you know, the fever started to come and all. And then there was a turning point in my mind. No, I'm not going to be sick. And then within 15 minutes, all the symptoms are gone. And I didn't get sick, nor during the program, nor after the program, because of inner decision. But the pathogen was there. But also Anahata Chakra was strong enough to fight that pathogen. I will tell you a few stories more. There was this, it is a famous story, you can find it, you can Google it out. There was this patient called Mr. Wright. WRIGHT. So he was a patient of lymphosarcoma, means the cancer of lymphatic nodes. His groins, abdomen, neck, everything was affected. His tumors were the size of oranges, everywhere in the body. And due to those tumors in the lungs, a milkish substance was produced. And 2/4 of this milkish substance had to be sucked out of the lungs, otherwise he would not be able to breathe. So without maintenance, he would not survive a day. His doctor didn't believe he will last more than 1 week. But one day, hospital has received new experimental medicine, which was supposed to be a miraculous cure for that lymphatic glands cancer. Doctors didn't want to spend that expensive medicine on a hopeless patient because that medicine to work, it needed 3 months of administration. But he was going to have only 1 week, so why bother? But he heard that new medicine is there, and he started to beg. He said, please, 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 give me that medicine. I just know it will help me. I just know it will cure me. So doctor thought, okay, out of compassion, he has administered 1 dose of the medicine, and they went to the holiday. He thought that when he will come back on Monday, the Mr. Right will not be there. But when he came back on Monday, Mr. Right was not in bed. He was walking the corridors, joking with the nurses, drinking Coca-Cola. His tumors shrunk twice in size. In next 10 days, they disappeared. Doctor has described they melted like snowballs on the hot stove. He came out of hospital, very happy, prizing this medicine. And he was living like that 2 months, taking the medicine. Then, after 2 months, one article came out that this Biozen is probably useless medicine. He read it, his faith was shaken a bit, and again tumors start to reappear. When he saw his doctor decided to become tricky for the benefit of the patient. He said, you know, last time you took adulterated and spoiled kind of Biozen. Now I have a new shipment of the very, very potent extra pure Biozen. I'm going to give you, most definitely is going to cure you. So he was again convinced, and the doctor gave him a pure water, no medicine. For another 2 months he was healthy. But then the Biozen was sent to 10 hospitals, you know, to verify its efficiency. And all those hospitals, they came up with the articles, and they were blaming that this Biozen is completely useless medicine, has no therapeutic value whatsoever. So when he read those articles, he lost faith in his treatment, and then tumors reappeared again, and then within 2 days, they were more than ever before, and then he died. So you see, that is the power of the mind over the body. We normally think, we take our health as an objective thing, as a product of the physical co-workings of many factors. But we should also know that the mind has a great effect of the body. the functions are quite miraculous. We have still not yet understood, we have still not yet studied enough to understand why it is like that. But it is like that. Another story is about a person. He was having, multiple personality disorder. So he had two personalities, switching, time to time. Sometimes he's like that, sometimes he is like that. So one personality was diabetic. When he wakes up and he realizes, oh, where am I? How did I come here? And that personality, he's a diabetic. And he would suffer. He would suffer the disease of diabetic. And all the tests, they would show the high blood sugar and so on and so on. It was, all the tests would show that he is most definitely a diabetic person. But the moment he would switch back to his healthy personality, not diabetic personality, all the blood sugar, all the parameters, they would normalize. For me, it is quite incredible. So the mind curves the body. Mind makes the body. So we should attempt to know the mind and to change the mind. Emotions are extremely important. Like also I started to talk about health, physical health. It is proven, it is established fact that people who use the support groups, like patients of cancer, alcoholics, they use the support group. They have much higher chance of survival and cure in comparison with those who do not join any support group. So it speaks something about our how we are, and the influence of the mind, because this is due to the mind. Okay. And Anahata, on the mental level, it contains 12 propensities. They are half negative, half positive, and those propensities, if they are connected with spirituality, they become positive, and if they are moving towards physicality, towards lower chakras, means what is connected with spirituality. If the propensities of the mind, they are tuned into the higher centers, they are getting inspiration, they are getting momentum from the higher centers, from the higher energy, from the higher understanding, then they become good. And then if they are getting momentum from the lower energies, lower vrittis, lower chakras, they become negative. They create hell in our lives. Have you ever experienced pain in the heart? Mental pain in the heart? Heartbroken, you say. Heartbroken. Is it nice? No, it's not nice at all. So they can be half, they can be positive, they can be negative.